Okay. So before we begin our class, let's do our word of thanks to God, and then we'll start. Thank you, Father God, for this wonderful and beautiful evening that you have given for us. Thank you for being with us this past week, Lord. Thank you for everything that you shower and give for us, Lord. We commit ourselves into your hands. We give this time into you, Lord. We pray and ask that, Lord, in everything we'll be able to give glory to you. We pray and ask for each one of us who's here, Lord, and as well who wanted to be here, Father God. Keep them safe and keep them protected, Father. We pray and ask all this in your mighty and precious name, Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay, so I'm not going to wait for everybody to join in. I'm just going to begin in. So we're going to do cake pops. So if you see, I've made few samples here with just 2-3 colors, not much, not many more here, just few colors here, just to show. This took me around, I think 45 minutes or so, just to get in, like, I made around 12 pieces of it. So yeah, just for that piece alone. So to begin with, if everybody has got your stuff all ready, if you have your chocolate chips, because we're going to make chocolate ganache for the cake pop. Now, what are we going to do is, you should be having your sponge cake. So if you have your sponge cake, you should have, even if you have not crumpled it, it's fine. We can do the crumpling together, like, making it like a sand, like making sure you remove the cake top crumbs and then kind of crumble it together. And this is what we're going to do. But before doing this, there are 2 ways to make the cake pop. One, we use chocolate ganache, that is, take any kind of chocolate chips. Now, I've taken a French vanilla cake here, and I have made other flavors too. But for the French vanilla, I would like to have white chocolate ganache or just plain butter melted. So I have the butter. I'm yet to take it off. So you can use either butter or you can use the chocolate ganache. So I'm going to show you with the chocolate ganache first. How do we do this thing? So for this, I have taken at least a small bowl, which is like this will hold at least, this has got 3 tablespoons of the chocolate chips here, white, because I'm going to use it for this cake pop, the French vanilla, as well as I'll be using it for the lemon cake, which I've kept it here. I'm yet to crumple it, so I might use it for that. So that's why I've just taken it 3 tablespoons. Now for one cake mix, like if you've used a Betty Crocker cake mix, now for one cake mix, usually we need at least 2 tablespoons of chocolate ganache, and that's what we're going to make now, so that we would be able to kind of use it. And again, I'm repeating to you, like if you're just learning or if you just want to try something, you can use with lesser amount of quantity, and with whatever you have in the house. I'll try to say the substitutes for you. If not, you can use the kind of a larger production, like if you have chocolate frosting, the big box, like the tins that you get in shops, you can use that whole can. But the only problem with that is when you open the can, you have to use it within 2 to 3 days time, otherwise it gets spoiled. So if you buy that and if you want to make huge portions of it, use that. Otherwise, it's very simple. Take some chocolate chips. The proportion is 1:2. So 1 whipping cream, 1 tablespoon of whipping cream to 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips. And that's what I'm going to use it here. So I have my whipping cream. I've already have a used one. So I just opened up today morning. So I'm using this brand. It's a Lucid. And then, yeah. So for this, I'm just going to add the whipping cream just a little. This will be 1 tablespoon is what I'm going to add to this. Okay. That's 1 tablespoon, which I've added to my chocolate chips here. And if you have the same thing, just go with 1 tablespoon to 2 to 3 tablespoons of chocolate chips, please. If you're using this method, you can go with this method. This is what I would like to do with my first batch. So I'm just popping that into the microwave. Please do not keep it for a minute. It's only for 30 seconds. I'm showing you, it's only for 30 seconds that you're going to keep it in. And as it gets heated up there, you need to make sure that you kind of stir it when you take it out, because not all the chocolate will be melted. If you're doing it along with me, take a small bowl, take 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips that you have, the white chocolate chips, along with a little bit of whipping cream, maybe a tablespoon of whipping cream. And if you feel it is too much, just add a little more of your white chocolate chips. It should be good. So I have my chocolate ganache here. If you see, it's all melted out, and you have to make sure it's kind of, I'll show you. I'm just gonna pop up my stand here so you're able to see this very clearly. Okay, so mix it very well. And if you see, there is a bit of the whipping cream on a higher side, that's fine, because as I said, I want it for my larger portions here. So what I will be doing is I'm just gonna mix some more of my, but make sure you mix it well. I'll mix some more of my chocolate chips here. Okay, I'm just making the chocolate ganache here to mix it along with my cake pop, the powder that I have here, the cake powder that which is made from the cake, sponge cake. So make sure that you mix it so well there is no lumps, because usually the chances of getting lumped up is higher here. So make sure that you kind of mix it very well and there is not much of lumps. And when you have a nice, when you know that it's evenly mixed up, now the fun part is to make sure that we keep it in the fridge for some time, just to bring it a little bit down, because it is hot. Like when I touch the bowl, it is hot. And when it is cooled down, we can use it into our mixture. Okay, so you don't have to keep it for a long time, maybe just 5 minutes or so, 5 to 10 minutes. Meanwhile, when that is getting done, we will do the next process here. So I see that it's already kind of, it's mixed up very well. I don't have to add any extra, because this is the consistency that I want when I mixed up everything. It's beautiful consistency, see? And this is what I'm gonna pop it into my fridge for 5 minutes. Okay, I'm just leaving it down here. Okay, everyone. So that has gone into the fridge for 5 minutes. Now, I will show you. This is my French vanilla, which I have here. I have made sure that I took off all the upper crust and crumpled it just like sand, like how you would get the sandy texture. And that's what I have kept it here. If you see, okay, and then I have one more, which I would like to use. This is my red velvet. Now, if you see the red velvet, I have not crumpled it. So all you do is just pull out the cake from your cake pan, and with your hands washed up very well, please. Wash your hands well, and then make sure you crumple it very well. This can be with good help from your kiddos. If you have little ones at home, ask them to kind of, get into this task of breaking down the whole entire cake here. Like, again, it totally depends how much of cake pops you're going to do you want. If you don't want too much, just take half of the cake. Like this is with one, this cake is with one full cake mix. So I will be using that because I have, I am giving it a few friends and families here. So I'm making a whole big batch of cake pops. So that's where you find all of this many batter here. But otherwise, if you are using it only for your home, make less portions. Why? Because cake pops has got lots of sugar. First of all, the cake itself has got sugar, and then you're going to use all those, those candy melts. This one, all these candy melts, no, not candy melts, candy wafers, candy melts, chocolate chips, anything for that matter. That's going to be too much of sugar for anybody to eat. And we don't want that to happen. So making maybe 5-6 cake pops in the house is good, and that you can make it with a quarter of the cake. You don't need a whole big batch of a cake. Okay, so when I think this is almost kind of, I have crumpled it. And this is a red velvet cake. I didn't use the cake mix, but I used my own recipe. Again, from YouTube. I used one which was very simple, easy enough to make. A small tip here, if you're making specifically for cake pops, what happens is like, I'll show you. And when you take a Betty Crocker mix, behind it says to you that, you need to add milk, oil, and eggs. For a cake pop mixture, you don't have to use the oil because the texture without the oil is really good. So again, I repeat, if you're using for a cake pop, if you're using Betty Crocker cake mix or any cake mix, avoid oil, because the cake, the batter that you want for your cake pop is really good without oil being added to the cake. But for a normal cake, do add oil, not for a cake pop. So that's my first tip that I would like to give for you here. And as much as possible, try to do your cake stuff, or the batter, the ganache, the frosting, everything at home instead of buying it from outside, because every can, even if it says $2, if it's for 50 cents or like whatever it is, that's got lots and lots of sugar. I'm not a very big fan of feeding sugar. So whatever you can make it at home, we can always use something else towards it and make it better without so much of sugar too. Okay, so that's my small, again, another tip I could say that, make everything in your house so that you know how much of the sugar that you add, and do you really need that? And make sure that you're crumpling the cake, the sponge cake, whatever you've made, make sure that you're crumpling it very well so that you don't have any lumps. For cake pop, there should not be any lumps. Make sure you some of them use a stand mixer to break it down. It's up to you. You can use your hand, stand mixer, anything. Okay, so this is getting, I think I'm almost kind of, you can use two hands, please. Like I'm just holding the phone in one hand and I'm trying to kind of do it. So you can use two hands to crumple it. Make sure everything is like, there should not be any hard textures. If you have any hard textures, remove it off. That's why I said remove the cake's outer cover, this dark layer out. Take it off and then take only the soft sponge to make your cake pop. Anything homemade is really good. I prefer everything homemade when I'm doing it for friends and families, even for outside also for that matter. I'm a little bit more on the conscious side. So yeah, make sure that you have this beautifully. So now you'll get the sandy texture. If you see, this is the texture that you should be having. Very sandy texture. So if I have to compare it with the children's, if you've seen the sandy stuff that they play around with, that's what we are getting it here. Okay, so get a sandy texture here, and this should be very fine sandy texture. Okay, anybody with question? Okay, so first we've done the ganache, and now we've got the cake crumpled up very well. Okay, so I'm making sure my cake is crumpled up very well. Yeah, it looks fine for me, this one. So, okay, let me see. And I'm just within the cake itself, so I've not taken my hands off from anywhere, so I'm fine with using the same cake. I am okay. So this is also doing good here. Now let me get my ganache out, because that should be done now. Okay, just hold. Okay, people. So let's move this a little bit here and see. Now I have the ganache here. I have a small spoon here, not a big spoon. So I'm just giving it a stir. My bowl is really cold. If you want to take out yours also, because I don't want it to get hardened. All I want is to just to get into a little cold temperature, but not too cold also. Okay. So with this, if you can watch me, I'm just gonna pop my cake pops into the fridge, the one which I made. I just don't want it to keep it out here. Thank you. Okay, so here's my ganache. If you see the chocolate ganache, and you all should be having the same consistency because you didn't do anything, just added 2 tablespoons of the chocolate chips along with the along with your whipped cream. So can you keep this inside? Okay. Okay, so here goes. I'm using 1 spoon. That's not enough. 2 spoon will not be enough. 3 spoon and 4 teaspoons make close to 2 tablespoons. Okay, so after pouring this, just wait, don't pour everything into this. Now start mixing your cake. It should become like a dough, like how we typically make chapatis, rotis. You should become like a dough. Depending on the proportion that you have, add a spoon by spoon ganache there. Don't add too much, please. Okay, and I'll show you how to make it with butter as well. I'm not a very great fan of using more chocolate into any of those stuff, but this one will give you a beautiful texture. With butter also gives it, but I'm just showing you 2 ways which you can use it. Okay, so you can either separate out your batter into 2 forms and keep it, or if you have 2 different flavors, then you can use 1 flavor with the white ganache, and the other one we can make it with the this one, butter. Now I added 6 teaspoons of ganache here, and still it's not coming through. So I'm adding 1 more. And I'm adding only 1 by 1, like I'm not adding everything together. So please do not add it together. For baking, you need a little bit of patience because nothing comes together very quickly. It's just like how we have in life, some problems come by, and then, we need to take time to think how it will be solved. So this is just a teaspoon, so it takes its own sweet time. But it's coming through. If you see, it's coming through, but it is still not come through as a dough. And that's what we are trying to get here. So I've already added 10 teaspoons of ganache. This is my 11th spoon. Okay, let's see if it will stick together. And by sticking together, I'm literally saying it should stick together. That means it will come off your plate or your mixing bowl, whichever you're using for. Okay. And try to bring in everything together so all of them are incorporated into your mix. It's almost coming together. I wouldn't say it's not. It's maybe 1 more spoon should help me out. And you should have your dough sticking together. You cannot have it in the crumbly texture to make a cake dough, a cake pop. And just like how you mix your roti or your, for any of the dough that you need to do, mix it nicely like that. And it will come out well. It will stick together if you're doing just like what I'm doing. And if you've crumpled your cake dough to nice like bits and pieces, it will come out well. I'm just going to add a little bit more. So altogether, I think we added 12 teaspoons of ganache for one ready-made mix of cake mix. And baking is all about trials. So please don't feel that, oh my gosh, nothing came out well in the first trial. Don't worry. I never got anything in my first trial correct. So that's why in the evening, I wanted to make sure what I'm showing you in the evening comes out well. And I had to do my sample cake pops just to make sure that my timing as well as what I'm trying to do is good for everybody. Okay, people. So I think it's almost there. And it looks at least like a dough, but I think it is still breaking apart for me. So probably I'm just gonna add in one more. So 12. Okay. So that's why I was saying, right, like ganache and all is like totally sweet stuff. Now, so much of sweet is already there in this cake pop. On the top of it, you're going to coat it with more of sugar. So limit that when you're making it for home. Okay, so mine has come out together as one big dough. Can you see? Now what we're going to do is I'm just going to pop this into the fridge just like this. Okay, make sure nothing sticks in your pan. See, my mixing bowl is completely empty. And if you're doing it along with me, this is what you should also have got it. If you have not, don't worry about it. If you have some breadcrumbs left, you can always add towards it. Okay. So now I'm going to pop this in the fridge while I'm going to show you how to do the butter. Okay. Okay, people. Now I'm going to show you how much are we going to take the butter, because we need 3 tablespoons of butter, at least for this much of. This is again, I could say close to 1 packet if you have to compare it to your cake mix. So it's close to 1 packet. Now let me just see. We usually have all those markings here. If you see, there's markings here, right? Now for the other cake that we want to do, I need butter for that as well. So I'm just going to show you. This is the second way of doing it. And I'll show you how much I'm going to take. See, all I'm going to take is a quarter. Okay. So I'm going to melt this much butter. If you see, I'm going to melt it up. Okay. Give me that one. So I'm using similar kind of a bowl here. I'm putting the butter into that bowl, and I'm going to keep it for 30 seconds. I'll show you. So
could you say about how much that is in grams?
In grams, it could be I think 50, maybe less than 50 grams, dear.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, but you have to use the tablespoon measure here, not the grams measure. Okay, when you're using butter to mix up with the cake, the sandy texture, you need to use the tablespoon measure. Okay.
Oh, so we measure it after it's a liquid?
Yes. So
okay.
I've taken a 50 gram, approximately close to that, but I have to make sure that I'm going to use it as like how I use the other one by spoon. I'll have to use it the same way here too.
Okay, thank you.
No problems. It's okay. Okay. Sorry, I have so much of cakes going on everywhere. Okay, so that's my melted butter there. And that's my spoon, which is close to a bigger tablespoon, I would say. Okay. And make sure it's melted very well. Okay. And this is the method which usually I like because it's not too sugary. If I use chocolate ganache, it's like really sugar, right? Everywhere it is sugar. So melted 50 grams of butter, close to 50 grams of butter you will have. Now let's start putting this together into here. Again, this also the same way, don't pour up everything together. Close to 2 tablespoons butter, we should be able to get it. So 1, 2, 3, and I have put 4 for now. I'm gonna start mixing up together. Let's see from where it is gonna mix. Sometimes butter doesn't mix up together also, like for some of them, it does mix up together very fast. For some don't, like at least for me, it takes 2 or 3 trials to see how much of the quantity that I have to put. So I keep it handy. And even with this, it's not been sticking out. So I've already added 6 teaspoons here. And make sure that you bring all of them together. Okay. And I want to make sure that I quickly take out the other one from the fridge. So there goes 8 teaspoons together.
If we're only planning to make like 1 cake's worth of cake pops, do we not need to do this part?
No, you don't have to do it, dear. I'm just showing you how you have to bring it without the ganache.
Okay.
Okay, this is only for people who don't want to use the ganache, like too chocolatey stuff. So this is only for that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to do it. If you're doing only one, no, you don't have to. And for me, I'll maybe, I'll just show you how to bring this all together and pop this into the fridge and use the other one, because that must be ready by now. And don't keep it in the fridge for long, please. If it is 5-10 minutes, please take it out from the fridge. Michelle, can you get me out? This one. The cake pop, batter. Yeah. Thank you. Because the one issue with this is, like it should not become hard. It should be soft. So that's why you have to take it out. So I took it out from the fridge. And when you're using butter, this is the texture that you should get when you're crumpling it together. Okay. Now I'm not using it everything together here, and for my time's sake, it should come in together like this. Okay. If you're taking in small portion, and when you start putting it together, this will also become a dough. And when you're rolling out, it will be like this. Okay, guys. So I'm just going to leave this side just because I just want to make sure that I kind of start with my other cake pop. Otherwise, that will become. Okay. So let's begin with the cake pop stuff. Okay, everyone, if you have not taken it out from your fridge, please take it out. Take your cake pop batter, which you have made it. Okay, now we are going to make balls. Now, the important part of it is, I like to say that if you can have a measuring spoon or something, it'll be good. Even if you have a measuring, like cookie, the cookie spoon or anything like that, ice cream spoon, it's good because it just gives you an even batter. If not, take a tablespoon and you can make it. Now, when you're rolling it into a dough, into a ball, make sure you roll it with your hand. Like press it hard, press it hard. You should be pressing it hard. And if it is popping out or if it is breaking out, make sure it comes in together because it should come in together. It should come in like an even ball. If you see, an even ball. So make sure that you press your hands together, make the ball nice and soft. Can you see? Okay, and what I'm going to do is, if you have a wax paper, place it in that wax paper. Like I have kept a wax paper on the cookie tray, and I'm going to keep all my balls there. Because wax paper, it will not stick it. Otherwise, if you keep it in a normal plate, it's going to stick, and then you're going to find it very difficult to pull it out. Or it'll give you a shape of a flat surface. Okay, so you can start making your balls as fast as you can because it should be in your room temperature. And again, we will pop it up into the fridge for 5 minutes. If you know your hand, like how much you're using with your hand, that's also good. Because I usually am not a person with all these measuring cups and jars and everything. I use it with my hand and eye levels. And make sure your balls are always round, nice and round. And it sticks together. Otherwise, break it out and then make a ball again. Okay. And your dough should be able to help you out with making these balls like this. If not, please do add that ganache and make sure that it looks like the chocolate. Like it looks round, the ball comes together. So let's see how many balls that we can get out of one cake mix. Mine is kind of a medium sized here, like as I said, one cookie drop that I have here. Okay. I'm just showing you so you can also do it along with me. Or if you just want only 4 or 5 balls, that's good with how much of a batter that you have. And press it hard and make the ball. because then what happens, it all sticks together. Otherwise, chances of that cracking up is there, if you see. And this is my French vanilla ball, so that's why it has this light creamy texture. If you're using the white or I think the other flavors, it will have those colors. And this has got huge calories and sugar. So once in a while, you can do this for your kids, but otherwise, not so great. Okay, every ball should be at least equal. Don't put so much because your cake pop, the lolly stick or the paper straw that you've bought from dollar store, it will not hold on to it. Okay, so please do not put so much. And even when I'm going to put this recording, please do not expect me to do any cutting, editing and stuff. First of all, I'm not so skilled with all those. So you will find the raw, unedited version directly there, like how I am rolling, how I'm holding, what kind of time that I'm taking. Everything is just the same. So when you start with me, you will finish with me. And I'm just going to do the French pop, French vanilla cake pop now to show you all with other drizzles and cakes and everything, like all those coating. My chocolate, my lemon, and my red velvet, I shall do it after the class. The more the pressure, it's a good exercise for you, that's for sure. At least for me, I'm like, it's a good one. And as I said, when you're making cake pops using a cake mix, don't add oil. Your cake pop will actually come in together much better. If you add oil, it takes such a long time, as well as it doesn't come out well. And I've also seen some people making with a fresh cake, like just with that heat itself, they kind of crumple it, put it into the freezer bag and keep it in the fridge or freezer for at least 5-10 minutes. In that way, the condensation happens inside, and then that crumbly texture is also good for the cake pop. So you can try, there is a try, it's always trial and error methods, what suits well for you. So you could do that as well. I haven't tried that one yet. Every time I've tried only the ones where I cool the cake and, mix it with butter or with ganache. The butter one takes a little longer time. But yes, for me, it's just because I don't want to put so much of sugar into the kids. So I try to avoid that. Those are my balls. My last bit of ball is done. I'm just gonna take all those little crumbs that's left out, pull them all together, make it to a ball. So let's see how many balls that we have now, at least from what I have got. Okay, I'll show you how many balls that I have. So let's see how many balls we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 balls, because you know what? When we made the cake, I had lots of crumbles up and down, like, you know, the top layer, the down layer, I had to cut it off. So yes. Now, you made the balls. Can you just pop it up into the fridge for another 5 minutes, please? 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. Okay, my balls have gone into the fridge. Now I'm going to show you how are we making the coating. So I like to use these cups because if I fill it up with all of my dip in this, it's so easy to dip it and take it out. So I prefer using this one, and I have got few colors here. I will show you which one. I have blue, pink. I have the chocolate color too. Give me the orange, yellow and orange. Okay, so I have yellow, orange, and these ones, and then I have the plain. I'll show you. I have the plain chocolate chips, white chocolate chips. If you can see, I have the plain chocolate chips, and I have the plain chocolate bars as well. We can use this too. When I'm using this one, I use colors. Okay, I'll be using blue or green or whatever colors that I could use. I'll be using those colors. So I'll show you the two ways of how I'm doing it. And so you would, if whatever you have, you can use that as well. Okay. So when you're using this chocolate, if you can just break it apart, it'll be nice. If it is a big chocolate that you're using, if you're using only the chocolate chip, that is good because it's already been broken. Okay. I'm just going to make sure that I have enough to put it in here. Be careful. If children are doing this, please have your adults with you. All the dippings and, you know, popping stuff, all those stuff, you know, children can do, but something with knife, with oven, please make sure that the kids are not doing that. And you can use a cutting board if you want to, please. I'm kind of used with all this handy stuff. So, okay. So this one, I'm going to add some color to this. And I'll show you a couple of ways how you can coat the cake pop. Okay, so I think that's pretty much, it's good. Maybe one more, I'll pop it in. And when you're popping the cake, cake melts, candy melts, chocolate wafers, chocolate chips, anything into the oven, please start with the lowest of the lowest, like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Don't go too much high on that because it will just get hard. That's not what you want to do. Okay, so let me pop it into the oven. Microwave. So I've popped that into the microwave for 20 seconds. First is 20, and then I'll put it for another 10. Now I want to do, where is the, so I want to do a yellow one. Where is yellow? So if you see, it still looks like nothing is happening with it. Okay, so make sure you stir it again. whichever bowl that you have taken it, stir it nicely so that you can kind of make sure that it is well mixed. I'm just, and I'm popping it back into the microwave after giving it a good stir for another 10 seconds. I'm doing it with the interval of 10 now because I don't want it to go too hard. And then I'm going to put my yellow melts here. Okay. Yeah. So that's like a whole cup, maybe some more of that. I'll put that also. Okay. And if you see, it's getting melting. It's there. It's there. It's slowly, it's coming up. It's not fully there. It's coming. And that's what happens with every chocolate. So go slowly. If you have chocolate chip, then what happens is like with the chocolate chip, it melts faster. So you can do with the chocolate chip. Okay. So that will be only 30 seconds. For this bar chocolate, it takes a little longer time. So I've put it for another 10. And then I have I want to use a nice yellow for this one. So I've kept it all full for this.
So Nisha, for the second
Yes.
batch,
Yeah.
I don't have these yellow wafers. Can I use milk chocolate?
Absolutely, absolutely. And do you have colors?
Yes.
Then that's what. So you can use white. That's what I'm going to use with this chocolate also. So you can use the white milk chocolate and then just melt it for maybe 20 seconds, I think, because that will melt very fast.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. No problems. So mine is almost there. And make sure you give a nice good mix, because what happens, there is heat there. So you don't have to go keep it into the microwave again. Just make sure you mix it very well. See, you mix it very well. It is getting melted up. So I don't have to really kind of go again, I think, because it is mixing very well. Yep, it's very well, it's done. Okay. And if you see, the consistency will be coming out the more you mix it together. You don't have to put it into the oven again, please, into the microwave. I'm just going to put this into the microwave for 20 seconds to start with. Okay. Now, everybody, if you can notice, I've mixed it up, right? So it is flowing, but it is not still too flowy texture. So what you can do is, another tip here is to add a little bit of vegetable oil. It becomes very smooth and oily texture. I'll show you how will that come by. And please make sure when you're doing cake pops, you are doing it together. Like, don't wait and keep thinking about it. It all goes hand in hand. So here, I'm just giving it a 12. You don't see anything happening here, but it is starting to melt. And I'm putting it back again. So that's getting done. And while that is getting done, I'll show you how is this texture. So when you see, this is what you get just by melting the chocolate. And this is good. But then, you know, when you start, when you want to dip that chocolate, when you want to dip the cake pop, it may not be, it will not be able to stick in together. So I'm just going to add a little bit oil, and I'm going to show you how much I'm going to add to it. So please don't add too much, because we want the exact flavor of these chocolate that you're using, because the coating should be very well. And I'm using a glass because I can easily dip into it. You can use any containers, please. Okay. And my this chocolate is also getting melted very nicely. I'm just gonna pop it for another 10 more seconds. Let me see. Okay, so while this is beautiful, I'll show you how much of the oil that I'm gonna use. Now, I have the vegetable oil here in a container, and if you see me, that's it. Okay, I'm just gonna twirl it around nicely, mix it beautifully along with the entire chocolate. So what happens if you see, it's little bit more better in coming out. That's what you need. Okay. I'm just taking the other one out. That is also almost getting done. Oh, that is done. So if you see my other chocolate, the yellow melts, which I had, this is yellow chocolate molding wafer. Okay, I'm just giving you a name. I'm giving the name that I have, because there are a couple of, there is something called as candy melts. There is something called as chocolate melts. And then you have your chocolate chips. Okay, guys. So basically the chocolate coating is ready now. But this is also very thick. So I'm going to add a little bit of oil to this, but make sure you mix it very well so there is no clumpiness, there is no lumps there. Okay. And the same amount of oil that I added there, lesser than a spoon. If you see, this is the consistency that you need. It should pour beautifully. Okay. Okay. So I have this. Now you should be very quick enough to start dipping this into the into the batter here. Okay. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip off all my stuff there, and I'll show you how to make swirls also. Okay. So that's my stuff. Okay, so now I have, I'll show you the lollipop stick and the, okay. So I have the lollipop sticks, and I have the sticks from the dollar store, which is the paper straws. Okay, so we can use either of them, or what you have to do is make sure whichever color that you want to use, dip the straw into your into the color, and make sure wherever you want to poke that into your cake pop, make sure you pop it in. Okay, so you got the pop there, and then I'm just going to leave it here just like this. Okay, so that's my you can use any of the straw sticks. Okay, the bigger straws or smaller straws. I'm using small. As I said, I'm just planning to give all of this to my friends and families here. So I'm using a smaller stick, pop it in. Okay, nicely pop it in. It will go in. And if you like to have this outside there, you can keep it, or you can smoothen it out. Okay, whatever you like, you can keep it like that. No harm. And you can use either colors, the white. Make sure that this is how much I'm sticking it in. Okay, so I'm just leaving it here. All I want to do is just to make sure that it sticks to it. So whichever colors that you have made, you've got it. pop it in. Okay. Okay, see, I'm just leaving it on that same wax paper that I had where the balls were kept. Make sure you dip the pop stick into your what's that? The coating mixture, please. Don't forget that. Okay. And you know what? This is just a regular home stuff that I'm trying to show you. I'm not showing any professional way of like, okay, keep the place clean immediately after every ball making and everything. This is a live show that I'm doing. So please pardon me if I'm not showing you exactly like how it has been shown in all the other YouTube videos. Okay. So there goes my balls. And I'm trying to make sure that I have enough paint sticked out. Oh, there's one cracked out here. Let's see whether it's gonna go in. Yeah, it still goes in. Okay. Okay.
Kind of cookie. Kind of cookie.
Yeah. I think I might have pushed it very hard. Yeah, let's see. Okay. So. Okay. And this will actually make it stick into the ball, the mixture that you've got in the coating, because it dries up faster and it will help the stick to get in place here. And that's what we are trying to do. And yeah, be careful of not poking it outside. Okay, I've almost done. Yeah, and oh, that was a long one. Okay, guys, I forgot the stick was a long one. I think I went around popping it till the edge. Okay, hopefully it dries up fast and it's not bad. Okay. Okay, let me not pop it so much inside. That's good. Yeah, be careful of your sticks that's getting too much inside, because then the problem is it's going to break off. Okay, that's good. So we've made the sticks here. All of them have been kept here. If you see, all the pops are being done. Okay, now what we're going to do is to make sure we start putting it into the, yeah, it's because I put the stick too much outside, I guess. Oh, there's one more. Okay, people, one more stick to go. Okay, so I'm leaving it there. And now what I want you to do is to make sure, now we're going to dip it into these, this melt, okay? I'm going to show you how you're going to dip it. Okay, let's take this one. Dip it completely in, please. See, completely in, if you can see. And then only you get that smooth texture of, if you don't dip it in completely, you don't get that smooth texture. And then make sure you roll it around so that all the excess goes down. Okay. And then if you can just tap it with your finger, it's good. Don't tap it too high. Like even if you tap it on your wrist, it's okay. But don't tap it so much that the ball comes out of the stick. Okay. And if you want to put some sprinkles on top of this, you may do so. I'll show you. Not because it's not, when it is not too dry, you may do the sprinkles one. If it is very dried, you will not have the sprinkles sticking out. I just want to be sure that all the excess comes out. It takes a little while. Okay, I think we are good. And where do you keep? That's the main thing. Like the problem is, if you have some styrofoam or if you have something to place these sticks, you can use that sticks. I had gotten an egg cover, which I'll show you now. I've been placing all my cake pops in that, the egg case, and it stands there. So it's okay. Okay, I think I'm kind of good with this one. Okay. Okay, and now what happens is like, I'm just gonna put some sprinkles onto it. So I have this one, right? And I'm gonna use some sprinkles on it. So I'll show you how to put those sprinkles. I have some. Not too much. As I said, everything is sugar here. So please think about how much of the sugar that you want to put it in. Okay, so one of the sprinkle candy is done, and I'll show you where exactly I have kept my cake pops. Move, Kuta. See, I've kept my cake pops here. I had few bunches which I made for the cake, for the chocolate ones. So I've just left it here to dry. Okay. So that's where you can keep it, or you can take a long glass and then you can do that also. That's one method of putting your cake pop with some designs. Another one, where's the white one? I'm going to put this white here and show you how to do the white or this creamy texture. Okay. So this is a plain one. And yes, make sure that the excess sugar all comes out, because you don't want all those excess sugar on the pop itself. Very gently tap it out, very gently. Okay. Okay, so very gently tapping it out. And I have excess, I'm for sure I can say that I have some excess. So I'm just waiting for that to fall off. And this one, I'll show you how we can give some swirls on top of it. Okay. I'm just going to show you 4 pieces of it. The rest I'll do it at my pace. So take off all the excess that's coming out. Okay, so now make sure you rotate it a little bit so that, you know, it just keeps going around, like it doesn't stay in one place. If there is so much more also, you can dip it down and see if there is anything that's more coming out. All the extras will fall out if there is any. Okay, so that one looks okay for me. Okay, just ensuring that my this one is not getting thick. Can you just hold it? Just hold it like this. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to give some coloring. So I'm just taking some of this white. Okay. I'm just taking some of the white. Okay. I'm using the green shade. Okay, that's enough for that. Any colors, guys, do put any colors that you like. And I'm just going to use a, where's my twirling stick? You can use a, yeah, you can use a chopsticks or a twirling stick, whichever you feel comfortable with. So okay, this is little thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of oil towards it. And then I'm going to make it little thinned out. Not too much. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So my pop sticker, my pop is already dried out, right? So I'm just gonna, you can either put this into a Ziploc bag or you could use a spoon. I'm just using a spoon here. Rachel, can you get me that small spoon? Spoon. Yeah. I'm just using a spoon. Oh. So if you use a spoon, see what I'm trying to do is I'm just these are simple ways. If you want to do it very professionally, please take a Ziploc bag, put this into the bag, and you can do it. And I don't want too much to go also. See if you see. A very simple technique. Nothing much. It's a very, very simple one. Hold it. And I'll show you with the, I'll show you a marble technique too, so that you can see how best you can use all these for your colors. Okay, I'm just gonna keep this aside here, my spoon. And Rachel, okay, no, that's fine. I'm just using the green. If you see, I am keeping it very little there. I'm not putting so much of there. And take the cake pop stick, go inside, start twirling it around. See, you can get a marble kind of a texture. I'll show you again. I didn't do anything difficult or different. All I did was just put some color in there and then started to twirl it around inside. Since my green was very lighter, like it was not so dark, it didn't come out so great with the texture of the cream itself. But I'll put some more green and show you the other one. So this is how you do a marble texture. You can put a couple of colors into the same same base bowl, and then you can get the texture beautiful. Okay, Rachel, hold this. I'm just going to add some more green. Okay, and I've added green here, and then I'm going to go round, round, and round. Can you see? A beautiful marble texture. Whichever color you want to give in, you can give, and make sure that you take off the excess. If you have, just go in circles, it'll come out, or leave it like this, it will fall off. Don't keep too much of sugar coated on the cake pop, please. It's really sugary. I'm coming. So I'm trying to shake off the excess here. And if you see, I did shake off all the excess. Okay. So this is another way of doing your cake pop, coating. One is your marble technique here. Another one is your sprinkles. Another one is your dribbling method. I think we are almost close to an hour here. So, you know what? If you're doing it just for yourself, you'll be a little more faster. It's just that, when you're trying to show something and we're trying to show it as best as you can, it takes little time. Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure that that keeps. I'm just shaking it around so that it gives that good round feeling there. Okay, so there goes my cake pop, and I'm just holding it. My little one is just holding it, and I'm just gonna. Okay, I just put 3 balls on top of it. Whatever you want to put in, you can put in, guys. No harm at all. Now, let's see how is this color going to come in. Okay, I'm just going to use some yellow here. Okay, and then I'm going to give it a twist and see what best can I get the colors here for. You can use any colors you like. You don't have to stick with the same colors that I'm showing you. Use any colors: red, pink, blue, black, whatever you have. And if you want to just leave it with the marble shade itself, you can leave it like that. If you want to add some more colors to it, add it, some sprinkles to it, you can do that. If you want to add some chocolate sprinkles, go ahead and do it. So when this has been dried, it looks like this. Okay, I didn't do anything else here, just this one. Okay, and I'm gonna dip into my plain yellow. Okay, and then wait. So that's the plain yellow. And then if you have any fondant, you can actually put some decorations also on top of it. Okay. So you have a plain one. And if the plain one is little dried, then you can put your dribbles on top of it. So how is it, everybody, coming up there with your cake pops? Are you able to get what I'm doing?
It's good.
Good.
Wow, that's nice to hear. Thank you. So please make sure that you take off any excess sugar coating from your cake pop, because that will really become hardened, and you will, I'm saying to you, it's too much of sugar. I don't make this often. I don't. Only when occasion comes by, I do this, because it's like you can keep the child running around for the whole day with this sugar. So, but it's a nice treat, that's for sure. Okay, I think I'm kind of okay with this. Now, guys, let's go and do the cake. If you want to do, is everybody wanting to do the cake, or are you guys, how do you want to, are you continuing with your cake pop? Because I want to show.
Continue with the cake pop.
Yep.
Is everybody for that?
Yep.
Yes.
Does anybody wants to do cake? Because I really want to show you how to mix your cake at home. Because even if it doesn't bake during this time, I want to kind of, make sure how much you do and what you're doing, so that at home you can make your any kind of cake, you can make it. Are you guys still okay with only cake pops?
I want to do the cake.
Want to do the cake? Okay. People with cake pops, all you have to do is just watch me if you're not making the cake. Okay. And that's my, it's almost dried up. So I just want to dribble up my green here.
Me?
Yes. Okay. So now I'm going to put some sprinkles onto this dribbled one. I'll show you how we do that. And that's why I was trying to show you the last bit of the decoration here. Okay, so I'm just going to take a smaller sprinkles. If you see the smaller sprinkles here on the side, I'm just using that. And then tap it out so that all the excess sprinkles comes out. And now if you see, we have one sprinkles, we have one marble, and then one dribbled, and we have one more sprinkles there. Okay, so we made 4 different ideas here. Rachel, can you give me the sprinkle ones? So I've shown you 4 different ones, just the plain sprinkles, plain cake pop, and then dribbling, as well as the marble method. Okay, so use these designs, whatever you want to do, and you will do it very well. Okay, I'm just gonna pop it up there. Oh, my phone. Wait. It's just that everywhere it is. That's broken. That's stuck here. Okay. Okay, wait. That's not. Okay. Okay. I'll go wash my hands. Okay. Okay, people. Okay. Okay. So everyone, I'm just moving away my cake pop stuff into a different place, and I'm going to show you the cake stuff, which is also important, because when you're doing baking, you should know the basic cake stuff. Basic, not too much, not too high. Okay, I'm going to show you the basic stuff. I'm going to use only half the amount of stuff that I showed you there. So it said 4 eggs. I'm going to use only 2 eggs here. I have already kept my eggs to the room temperature, and I will show you. I just want to wipe off my, there shouldn't be any moisture in your bowls that you're using, no water. So please make sure that you don't have water. That's the first thing that you do whenever you're doing baking. When you're using a bowl, please make sure that you don't have water in your container. Okay, I'm using direct eggs here, so no, it's not difficult. Take 2 eggs, and when I'm popping the egg, I'm just gonna put my oven. I'm gonna start my oven. I'll show you what kind of oven that I have, which will show you the temperatures here. So I go into bake, okay, and I put it at 375. Always 375 Fahrenheit is what you do the basic cake cooking, because it comes out very well. And then you press start. It shows you preheating. So it's 375, which is like, I know it starts off, it goes from 175 and it goes in, but always when you have the bowl starting with your eggs, make sure that you have the oven started. Sugar. Wait. So sugar, for 2 eggs, 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of sugar. Okay, so 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup. Okay, that's what I'm going to take in. And the don't take in icing sugar, please. Do not take icing sugar because the quantity changes. Because I was less on the sugar side there. So I just want to fill it up with that 1 cup of sugar. Okay, so that's all. Okay. Again, I repeat, icing sugar is different from a normal sugar. Please, when you see a recipe, never take icing sugar for your normal sugar. It's different. So as per your recipes, try to avoid using so much eggs. 2 eggs is good for a normal half-pound cake. So that's your sugar and your what is this one? And the this sugar and your eggs. I'm just trying to get my blender stuff in. Okay. Cream the sugar. You can do it in 2 ways. Either you can cream the butter and the sugar, all of them together if it is at room temperature. I prefer to do it all together, and it comes out so beautifully also. Now for this, 2 eggs, 1 cup of sugar. It's again 100 grams of butter. Again, I'm used with my measuring stuff, so I don't go with cups and stuff. I use the measuring which is there in my cover itself. So there goes my 100 grams of butter. Okay, so butter, sugar, and your eggs go together. Okay, and when you're doing this, it's important for you. Where is this thing? Okay. If it is in room temperature, everything will go in together. Okay. If it is not in room temperature, you will get a clumpy texture. And all I'm trying to do is blend it very well. The thing is, like, if you're using just your hands to blend this, it might not come out well because you will not get a fluffy texture. Try to use a hand blender because it helps you. If you have a standing mixer also, it's good. But using a hand blender is good enough to make for a cake. And always make sure, never go with a higher ingredient, like don't go with the higher portions if you're unsure of the cake itself. Go with the smaller portions. Cake is always trial and error method. So never, if some recipe says to you that, go with 4 cups of flour, 8 eggs and everything, don't go like that. Just try making sure that you do it in a lesser portion. So I took 2 eggs here, 1 cup of sugar, and I took 100 grams of butter. That's for your normal regular cake that you want to do it at home. This is your base cake. And to this, you can add your cocoa powder, you can add your nuts, you can add anything. This is your base cake, which comes out really well. And please make sure that you cream it very well, because the more you cream it, the more soft your cake gets. And try to mix in everything together so every part is mixed in. And you know what? I don't have any standing mixer or those big stuff. I make cakes with just the normal hand blenders. It comes out beautiful. So as I've always told you, I'm not a very fan of brands or big stuff, but yes, it helps when you're doing in a bulk or large portions, and it also makes it more good for some of them. So whatever is good for you, you just want to learn a hobby, you want to do some baking only for your family, go small, it's okay. Okay, so my sugary, creamy texture is looking good. It's very soft. It's fluffy. Okay, and to this, I'm gonna add. Okay, and to this, I'm gonna add my vanilla essence. So my vanilla essence, again, 1 teaspoon is good enough, which is a cap of it. Okay, so that's good. Okay, not too much. If you like almond essence, you can use almond essence. If you want to use a little bit of lemon stuff, you can use. And for this particular sponge cake, it gives you a ingredient lemon zest, because the flavor is really good. If you want to have a lemon cake or a nice sponge cake with a lemony flavor, little bit of lemon, so it's not too much. Now make sure that you mix it up very well. Okay, and then as a proportion for this itself, usually what happens is like we add a quarter of oil. I'll show you how much I'm saying. This much of oil or milk. Okay, so 1/3 cup of milk or 1/3 cup of oil. So that's what usually every sponge cake has got that with the cake itself to make it a little more softer, and it blends in very well. So I'll use some milk for it. I'm just getting the milk out, guys. Okay, so my milk, I'm just gonna add 1/3 cup of sugar. Okay, 1/3. That's it, not more than that, please, not now. It says keep adding the milk as per the recipe. For some of them, if they don't know the portion, oh, I'm talking. Okay. Sorry, my headphone was out. Okay. Don't add more milk now. Just this much is enough. Okay. And then, so you have the mixture there. 1 minute. Where's my lemon zest? And a bit of lemon zest. And just, I'm gonna add my flour to it. Okay. And that's my flour. And then a teaspoon. Okay, I added 1 cup of flour, and I'm adding 1 teaspoon of the baking powder. Okay, that's it. Not too much. So I'm just trying to see where's my. Rachel, can you get me a spoon, Kuta? Yeah. So add this much of baking powder, not too much. That's enough for this. And then that's your baking powder, your this one, and little bit of salt, because for any sugared stuff, if you add a little bit of salt, what happens is like it brings out that flavor nicely. A pinch of salt, just a pinch of salt, not more than that. Okay, and all we are going to do is just mix it up all together. And this is your just the basic cake. Okay. This is your just the basic cake, guys. And my oven is preheating is done, and we are done with the mixing also. So now when your batter is little thick, now is the time that if you want to add a little bit of milk, you can do so. Okay. So I'll show you how much more milk maybe we need for this. Okay, I'm gonna add another 1/3 cup here, another 1/3 cup of milk. It usually comes in the last, because when it starts blending in together, that's when you need that extra cup of milk, not before that. Okay, so this is your basic sponge cake texture. Add cocoa powder to this, add nuts to it. It's fine, absolutely great combination. Comes out very well. Now, I love to add nuts to this cake. So, you know, I love my almond. You know, I get this from Bulk Barn, the almond, slivered almonds, not slivered. I think this is the blanched one. And then what I do is I just add to this cake just a handful of it. So then this becomes a beautiful sponge almond cake, and it is really nice. And all you have to do is just take your blender, mix it all together. Okay, so that's it, done. This is your very basic structure, very basic cake, and this is what you can make it at home always. You don't have to buy a cake mix, you don't have to put so much of sugar into anything. This cake is absolutely, it'll come out well, and I'll show you how we are going to put it off into our pan too. Okay, let me see, where is it? I'll show you that, because I just want you to make sure that you know how to make your basic cake. Just give me a minute. Let me run this. Okay, now I'll show you different pans that I usually make. So this is one type of a pan, which is your spring foam. Like, you know, you can use this one, or you could use the bundt cake pan. Okay, this is also very good because the shape and structure sits on it, no problems at all. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to use my I'm going to use the bundt cake pan. Okay, now for the bundt cake pan, you have to make sure that you put butter all through the place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my margarine here just to coat the sides of it. Okay. So I'm just taking the margarine with my brush here. I've got it enough there. Use your hands, guys, no worries. Use your hands, do it. Okay, people. So I put it into my bundt pan. Make sure you give it a nice good tap so the air bubbles goes off and it is evened out. Okay. And this goes into the oven for I think around give it for 28 minutes because it's a bundt pan, so it's a little thicker than the other ones. But 25 minutes is really good if your preheat is done well. So first go with 25 minutes. Okay, I'm going to put it for 25 minutes. I'll show you. And I usually put it in my second rack. I usually put it in my second rack, if you see there. And then here comes timer, 25 minutes, oven start. Okay, so 25 minutes, the cake is put in the oven. I think we are quite good. Now what happens is like when the cake is done, like 25 minutes when it's done, use a toothpick to check out if everything has been cooked evenly. So you prick it in the center and see how it is cooked. So it's very important that you kind of get that done. Okay, so this is me. I hope you like today's show of cake pops as well as with the cake. And as I said, the cake, the basic cake you have, you can make it, add maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder. That's good enough to get a nice, good, light chocolate cake. If you want to add more, you can just add like, maybe 1 tablespoon of Nutella. It gives you a beautiful texture and the cake is really good. Okay, so that's what you can do with the chocolate one. And if you want any other flavor, all you have to do is just add those bits and pieces of that, either if it's nuts or if it's going to be chocolate chips or anything, just go with it and try it out. Your basic cake, you can do this, and then you can add on to whatever else that you want to do. Okay, so I hope you all liked the cake pop, what we made, as well as the cake. Any questions? I'm gonna take off the recording now so that you can ask the questions. 1 minute. Let me just remove the recording, dear, and then. So we will see you next week for sure. Okay.